OpenAI says it intends to move to dismiss all of Elon Musk's recent legal claims. Companies shared more about their mission and their relationship with Elon in a blog post on Tuesday, which included a number of old emails. I love that they use them. I use some in my book of his so you could understand what happened. According to OpenAI, they decided with Elon in late 2017 that the next step for the company was to create a for-profit entity, and it seems like he did agree. Elon wanted majority equity, initial board control, and to be CEO. What a fucking narcissist this guy is. He also withheld, he did give money to them, but he wanted everything for that. He also withheld funding money during these discussions. Of course, they turned to, guess what, Reid Hoffman. There's other rich people, Elon. There's other rich people who think AI is cool. OpenAI is coming out swinging with this post. The Wall Street Journal has a piece on how Elon's Sam bromance turned toxic, which we've talked about. I've known about this for a long time. I don't know if he's going to move forward with the suit, but these letters are kind of interesting. Also, OpenAI is also on the PR move. OpenAI, Google, Meta, and 300 others signed an open letter this week pledging to build AI for a better future. This letter mentions a collective responsibility to maximize AI's benefit and limit the risks. As Hamilton posted about it on X, saying he was excited for the spirit of this letter. It's a PR thing, of course. So first, we'll get to that. But what do you think about their thing? Did you read their blog post?
I love it. I think that for all the criticism, warranted criticism that Jack Dorsey got, I actually thought his board, led by Brett Taylor, literally just dissected, picked apart, and just absolutely drawed and quartered all of Elon's arguments in thoughtful, measured ways when he was trying to back out of an agreement that he contractually signed up right when he realized he'd overpaid for the thing in a fit of mania. So I think I loved it. I mean, it's great reading. It's just like, okay, let's be clear. You gave us some money. You then wanted to be the CEO. You wanted to be the majority shareholder. And it's clear you weren't doing this for humanity. You were doing it for control and wealth. And
That's
we
correct.
said no and found better options. Oh, and by the way, it worked out really well for us and our shareholders. Just FYI, it looks as if this company, without the benefit of your genius, has done really well.
Right.
And I mean, it's so obvious what's going on here. And I find I'm shocked he's not more embarrassed, but we live in an economy now and in a society where it's like, just get attention. Oh, wait, should I weigh in on the Disney proxy battle? No, I shouldn't. I have no domain expertise here.
This immigration stuff is so heinous this week, but go ahead.
And it doesn't even matter, and it's unfortunate because it's our fault. It doesn't even matter how heinous or stupid or irrational my take is, as long as I'm in the news. As long as I'm in the news. And that's where we are. We're in an attention economy. It doesn't matter why you're in the news, just as long as you're in the news. And this guy is literally massively addicted to attention. And a lot of these guys have some of the same addiction. Bill Ackman is a really smart guy. He can't help himself. He's like, oh, I got to weigh in on this issue now. I got to weigh in on Harvard's hedge fund. I'm going
to do a multi-part series on hedge fund investing, which I know nothing about, and I'm just going to rant about it. But go ahead. Sorry. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, as long as you can get ink, right? That's their attitude.
It's such bullshit.
Anyway, I read it. I thought they did a great job. I think they're going to clinically take them limb from limb.
Yeah, I agree. I think what you miss about someone like Altman and the people around him, and I think they're going to announce a spectacular board. I've been hearing all kinds of different names they're talking to. I think they're going to announce a spectacular, even-handed board that's full of stars. I think this has been a huge mistake on Elon's part. And interestingly, on Threads, Dustin Moskovitz, who was one of the early Facebook people, is essentially saying, tech people, let's get together and start telling people Elon's a fuck. Essentially, this is bullshit what he's doing, and he's ruining the brand tech by doing this. And these guys, let me just tell you, they're just like him in the ways they fight back. They don't roll over, and so this was a not roll over thing. And I agree, Brett Taylor did it effectively, more quietly. Sam is more aggressive. He's more, and the group he's around, they're like, they know him, right? And they're going to come at him. And showing his greed, which is what this was essentially, was perfect because he tries to virtue signal about how he cares about humanity. And then they sign the letter, which, look, it's just whatever. The pledge doesn't have them to anything, but it gives them another, like, yes, we do. Look, we're signing with everybody. I think it's just fine to do that. It's just a good move. The two things together are obviously linked. well done, I have to say. I'm excited to talk to Sam about it. And I was worried he would say nothing, but I feel like he's going to say a lot about it on stage himself. So we'll see. On AI development, Anthropic just released Claude 3, its latest group of AI models. The company says its most advanced model exhibits near human levels of comprehension and fluency. This Anthropic has a investment from Amazon, obviously. We're also hearing about this interesting company, Perplexity. Several people have asked me to meet the CEO, looking to challenge Google's dominance in web search. Kind of interesting. It just finalized new funding deal around $1 billion valuation. Really interesting company. I'm going to meet with the CEO. It's an interesting time because even though these are all big players and you'd like to see, not Perplexity, but these are well-funded players, it is really interesting to see this level of competition in the area. Again, I still think that the government needs to be part of this, and that we shouldn't not have. They can virtue signal all they want about this kind of thing, but we definitely need the government involved too. I just heard from Senator Klobuchar that the Appropriations Committee stole basically an extra $45 million was supposed to go to the antitrust DOJ. This was the adding to merger fees that actually passed, and they're trying to claw it back from the Justice Department and they're in the midst of all these antitrust cases. But I find that offensive, that this was money to be used to help the government in certain areas, which they dearly needed. And so the only piece missing here is government involvement too, in a smart way. So that's what I would say. Thoughts?
So a lot there. So someone called me and offered me in the secondary market shares in Anthropic at a valuation of I think $18 billion, which is they're raising money, and it's just so crazy. That valuation based on their metrics, but it's, I don't know, I'm kind of tempted. And actually, the reason, I think I told you this, I've been buying, or started buying about 6-9 months ago, claims against a bankrupt FTX. So you buy them from the creditors.
You said that, yeah.
And my total motivation for buying them was I read in the bankruptcy filing that they owned 8% of Anthropic. And I thought, well, that company's worth probably, I thought, I pegged it higher than that. I thought that if OpenAI is worth $95 billion, this company's probably worth 30 or 40. So I thought there are 8 or 9 billion in claims against a bankrupt FTX. And I think their stake, the way I did the math, was their stake in Anthropic is worth 2 to 3 billion, or you're going to get 30 cents on the dollar just from their Anthropic stake, and anything else they recover is gravy. Because when I started buying, I was buying at 23 cents on the dollar. Anyways, that my motivation for buying bankrupt claims against FTX was Anthropic, or specifically FTX's stake in Anthropic. Anyway, because I'm hanging out with you, and you and Tammy Haddad took me to the White House, I've gotten some calls from the White House who are working on AI, and they've been asking for advice around individuals and their approach to it. And what I said is, look, the thing you got to keep in mind is whenever you're speaking to a Jensen Huang or a Sam Altman, they're very thoughtful guys. Absolutely 100%. Speak to them. But keep in mind, their objective and their frame around everything, Jensen Huang is going to find really rational, compelling reasons why he should be allowed to sell sophisticated AI chips to China. Sam is going to argue for, in very thoughtful, hushed tones, talk about, well, we have to be considerate.
Sure, self-interested. We know this.
Yeah, you have to get people on this board and advising you that are totally charged with protecting the Commonwealth, not shareholders. And the thing I don't like about a lot of these boards is we're so fascinated with people, and the people that get the most airtime are these very compelling people who were the Rush chairman in their fraternity or sorority, who will talk their own book. And they asked me to outline the 2 biggest risks. I'm like, in the short term, hands down, the biggest risk of AI is disinformation around the campaign. And this is how I think it'll play out. I think Putin, using brilliant AI and porous, amoral management, platforms and management respectively at social media firms, will produce deepfake AI-driven videos of Biden, and it'll be imperceptible. It won't be totally blatant. It'll be something along the lines of the following. It won't make Biden look 81. It'll make him look 84. a little bit more pause, a little bit more shuffling of the feet. It'll be imperceptible, but it'll play into kind of our worst fears around the president. And then the second thing, and this was, they're all over that. They know that. The thing they didn't know is, I think actually the biggest risk of AI is that if you look at a lot of the nationalists and the people who are real deep conspiracy theorists, it's not only young men, it's a lot of men working in our armed services. And I think young men, because they are lonely and they don't have the economic opportunities they used to have, and because they become much more prone to algorithms who see an opportunity to exploit their more risk-aggressive behavior, their loneliness, their gambling addiction. I mean, if AI girlfriends pop up and these men continue to be more and more sequestered from society and AI starts getting a hold of them, you could find some very scary individuals weaponized at our ports, in our Navy.
This feels like a movie.
Well, it's funny you say that. That's another talk show. I mean, I think the biggest security threat to America in terms of really the homeland is a group of young men who are susceptible to AI algorithms that will weaponize them and radicalize them.
Well, interestingly, you're a sick fuck, but I agree with you.